Rodrigo, though, man of the match, as Real Madrid will take a 2-1 advantage into the Metropolitano next Wednesday for the second leg of that tie. For more on this, let's welcome in, shall we? Frank Leboeuf is with us, Mario Melchiot as well. We'll be hearing from the boys in a moment. But overall, Craig, I suppose 2-1, the quality of the goals exceeded the quality that we saw from the rest of the game. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. I think very tense. Obviously, nobody wants to make too many mistakes with another 90 minutes to come. At least 90 minutes. Javi Kylian settled into the game. I think that was what we saw there, was a problem that Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo and Mbappe can give you, that is when you're a fullback and you think, right, I'm not going to let him get it to feet, so I'm going to get tight to him. And in getting tight to him, if the centre-half doesn't come across, then I'm leaving myself open to that ball in behind at Valverde. So he's caught between a rock and a hard place. If he tucks himself in, they put it into Rodrigo's feet and he runs at them. So it's very difficult defensively. Ali mentioned he had a tough time against Lamine Yamal a week or two ago. He had a tough time very early in this game. The finish, though, from Rodrigo, once again, was brilliant. The finish from Alvarez was excellent. The finish from Brahim Diaz was terrific. And when we talk about players that have been big players for Real Madrid over the last 18 months, everybody goes to the usual suspects.
Yeah.
You know, but will Arda Güler come through? Will Endrick come through? What about these superstars? This guy, Ancelotti, has leaned on him quite a lot, either from the start or off the bench, and he has been terrific.
It was weird once it went 2-1, Ali. It was almost like both teams were quite happy with that.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid fell into this sort of rhythm of the match in which they were kind of like, do we go and chase this? Or are we okay with this? And it's sort of in between, because they never really committed too many numbers going forward. They never really actually said, you know what, let's go and see if we can tie this game up. Let's see if we can even this up. It felt almost as if Diego Simeone said, you know, our first priority is going to be, let's be well-structured, well-organized, let's not concede anything else, and we'll see you at the Metropolitano next week. So much so that when you look at players coming off the field from Atletico Madrid and you're trailing 2-1, and the number 7 comes up and it's Antoine Griezmann, and you go, wait, where's he going? Because if you're trying to chase this game, if you're trying to score a goal, if you're actually trying to push forward, you would think that Antoine Griezmann would be very much in the middle of all that action. Well, that wasn't the case, which actually tells you that Simeone, if they stumble upon a goal late, great. But priority number 1 was, let's keep this at a 1-goal difference. I suppose it's expected to some degree, but if you saw the middle part of this game, certainly the second half of the first 45 minutes and the early part of the second half, you're thinking, you know what? Atletico Madrid were dominating the possession. They were dominating in the midfield. Rodrigo de Paul and Pablo Barrios were outplaying Camavinga and Tchouaméni, and it felt like the momentum was with Atletico Madrid. And so, while I understand the thought process of Diego Simeone, it goes back to what is his go-to, and his go-to is, I'm going to be conservative, and let's see what happens in the second leg. And I think there was an opportunity here to push Real Madrid. They didn't. They chose to sit back, absorb some pressure, and keep this game at a 1-goal difference.
But surprisingly, they had a control in this game.
Very much so, yeah.
The stats changed towards the end, 52-48 in Real Madrid's favour if you're into your possession. But at half-time, that wasn't the case. It was much more possession football from Atletico Madrid. It was control in the middle of the park without doing anything outlandish or outrageous, you know, in terms of committing bodies forward. And we haven't seen that a lot from Atleti. But in a lot of games, you know, against mediocre sides, we really haven't seen it against the big guys. We've seen them play Barcelona and have success, but be completely dominated. So that was a little bit of a surprise, which I think just leaves it as a real head-scratcher for the second leg.
Frank, what's interesting, obviously, you take a look at this Real Madrid side, and it's that front 3 that really catch the eye. Rodrigo very much third in the priority behind Mbappe and Vinicius Junior. Yet he was the only one who did really anything in the final third today. Mbappe and Vinicius Junior were very average.
True, and worrying for me, especially from Mbappe. I saw him walking so many times because defensively, Atletico Madrid decided to be very tight, very narrow, low on the field. Therefore, you go against what Mbappe loves, spaces. can use his pace and using the everything you have behind the defense. He couldn't use that because Atletico Madrid decided to be solo, so he didn't almost exist. Vinicius Junior, we didn't see him too much. He has some chances, but he made the wrong choice, and it's true. Rodrigo and also Brahim Diaz, which I think was the best player from Real Madrid, in my opinion, because he worked defensively, were the only two working and surprising Atletico Madrid, because they were coming from the midfield, the middle of the park, in contrary of the two at front, who in fact didn't have any space, couldn't do anything much, and didn't even try to do anything.
Mario, is it fair to say Real Madrid slightly fortunate to take a lead into this second leg?
I mean, yeah, of course, because I think prior to the game, I'm sure they knew there was going to be a tough game. And Fini said it before the game. He made a comment and saying like, hey, the way we played the weekend, we cannot afford to start the game against Atletico like this. But they kicked off really well. I think if you saw the situation, you talked about Rodrigo, what he kicked off, his speed was incredible. I think as a defender, me being a defender, I always thought like the first couple of races you got to win. But the first two races, he actually lost, and when that happens, you understand, you start thinking about it. And then it kicked off like later on. And what I saw at Madrid, I was really surprised by. They did not mind in a couple of moments in the game allowing Atletico to have the ball. They didn't mind that. And look at the speed what he uses here. This is too early. 4 minutes in the game, this was this goal. But you as a defender, when the ball goes on the inside of you, because he wanted to be tight on him, because he thought if you get it in your feet, I'm going to be tight on you. But he forgot about the space behind him. And Rodrigo, like we talk about the other ones, Fini is quick, Mbappe is quick, but he is lightning quick too. So if you want to play against a kid like that, you got to really know how many meters you got behind you. And then later on, when the game kicked off, okay, you already highlighted it, but even the way he made that goal, he comes inside. Oh, it was beautiful and calmly.
Did you see where Javi Galán was there, though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And did you see where Longley was? That's your typical.
So why didn't?
That's your typical centre back who's saying, Frank will tell you, I do not want to be out there getting hung out to dry.
Given the vulnerability then we saw early on from Atleti, why didn't Real Madrid go for it more? Why didn't they go for the jugular once they took that lead?
Because I think actually Atleti grew in with this control of the game. And they took the sting out of Real Madrid for long periods, and that's credit to Atleti for that. And started to pass it around, and all of a sudden Real Madrid sort of dropped off a little bit. And I think that was more Atleti getting control of the game than Real Madrid sort of losing control, if you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, I think credit to Atletico Madrid the way they played today in terms of the middle of the park. I think they could still create more with the possession going forward. But that's going to be intriguing because we've got a glimpse of what this Real Madrid side are all about in that opening 10 minutes with that pace and that, that directness. But I think it sums up the day when Mbappe has a simple ball first time to Vinicius Junior and he takes another touch. Yeah. And that just allows the defenders and Marcus Llorente to get back in and challenge. So, from Real Madrid's perspective, they've won the game. Two of their superstars had mediocre days. You have to feel a little bit for Rodrigo in the sense that it seems that no matter what he does, he'll always be the third person in that choir.
Yeah.
To further the point on Kylian Mbappe, and while I understand what Frank is saying, that with Atletico Madrid it's difficult to find those spaces because they have so many numbers behind the ball, there was a sequence of play in which the ball pops open to Kylian Mbappe over the top, 1v1 situation, over distance against Jose Maria Gimenez. Look, it's the one chance that you have to run, and he made the choice to actually slow the play down. That's when you know that he wasn't quite feeling himself today. Because as any player would do in that sort of circumstance, when you have a mismatch in speed, I'm going to speed it up even more. I'm going to utilize my speed to get in behind. I haven't had a chance to utilize my speed and my skill set, and here it is. Isolated against Jose Maria Gimenez, who's struggling to make up the difference. This happened in the second half. Instead of actually getting after Jose Maria Gimenez, what does he do? He slows it down, allows Gimenez to now get in a position where he can defend, then the danger is all gone. It's just an example of when a player is not quite seeing the clear picture that he should be seeing, that would allow him to complete that first-time pass to Vini Jr. in what would have been a tap-in and 3-1 for Real Madrid.
Mario, is it a stretch to say that Julian Alvarez is one of the best players in the world at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, why we always highlight him. You know why? Because we look at City. And the way City is now, and sorry for calling that team, but it's a person they need right now. And how he came there, and he was looking to get more minutes. He wanted to play more. He wanted to have more freedom. And look what this kid done. He came there with a price tag that people talked about. But then the way he's playing, he's using all his ability. And every game, he fits perfectly in that team because, the team is about, they mean business when they play. And when we don't see that, that's when we feel like what's happening with them. And this is a player that can handle all that because up front, he's always busy. Playing against a player like him that's always on the move is the most annoying thing to do. I can tell you, there is no defender in the world. You understand? Frank is sitting there too. If you have someone in front of you that's always moving, you don't like that because you prefer him to be static, but this kid, he's got it all. The way he bent that ball in the far corner, Courtois was watching, but the way he did, I didn't even, at the moment when he came inside, I didn't even thought he was going to hit it straight away. But oh my God, it's just, quality is on it and power. And yeah, very good player.
I don't think Ancelotti will be too happy with the Camavinga challenge.
No.
If I'm being honest with you. But the answer to your question is yes. He had a slow start. Spent a fair chunk of time on the bench at the start of the season. We were wondering where it was all going to fit in from. Even a discussion, has he made a mistake? Of course, that was before he started scoring wonder goals and Man City fell off this gigantic cliff. We also wondered if it was going to be a sort of big man, small man with Sorloth and Alvarez, but that's not been the case either. Sorloth's been used to come on with Correa and change games, and he's actually forged a really good understanding and partnership with Antoine Griezmann. And he's been terrific. I think there was a lot of questions at the price tag. Was it around 70 million or thereabouts at the start? Particularly when a player starts slowly. Have we wasted money, have we done this? But he has everything. Apart from the physical presence, he has the movement, he has the pace, he has the work rate. He's scoring some wonderful goals and he's a team player. And I think for all those reasons, he is at this moment in time one of the best front guys around. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
You think about how much of a mismatch it was Joao Felix at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
How that just was never going to work. That Diego Simeone and Joao Felix just don't speak the same language when it comes to how to approach the game. Julian Alvarez speaks the same language as Diego Simeone when it comes to playing the game and the way that they approach it. And everything that he does, of course he has the qualities to finish the chances in the way that he did today. But all of it comes first and foremost from something that you just mentioned there, work rate. And that team player attitude that we have seen from Julian Alvarez with the Argentinian national team and that we see with Atletico Madrid is in his makeup to do a lot of the things that are considered to be the dirty work, sacrifices himself for the group. But what makes him different from other players that sacrifice themselves for the group is that he actually has the quality to also score goals with consistency. That's what separates him now, and that's what makes him one of the best players in the world.
And he was right to put his head above the parapet, wasn't he?
Most definitely, yeah.
And say, listen, at the time we all thought City were going to continue to be dominant, pretty much. Champions League, Premier League, best manager in the world at the time. Rodri was still fit, Erling, and he's thought about it. It's not that he's gone to he's gone to a huge club in Atletico Madrid, a big club, of course he has, but not one that's guaranteed to be, at the business end in every competition. Probably will be this year, but not guaranteed. And he, instead of sitting there saying, well, I'll play my 25 games at Man City, most of them coming off the bench or doing this or that or playing on the left. No, I want to go there and I'm a World Cup winner and I want to make my mark as somebody that's on that team sheet, week in, week out, showing what I can do rather than being a bit of an afterthought to the time, the Kevin De Bruyne's, the Bernardo Silvas, Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland. He's gone there and he's making himself the #1 guy. Fair play to him for that.
But for you, Frank, it was Brahim Diaz that should have won man of the match. Just talk us through his goal for us.
Well, he invented a new trick how to take on a player by twisting your ankle. That's what it was, and it worked very well. But as Craig mentioned, after the reaction that he has after that is unbelievable, because he reacts very well, and he's quite fortunate in the action, but his little steps made the difference, and I love that player. I mean, he's been absolutely terrific since lately, those 3-4 last games, and he makes the difference. He was working so hard defensively. He was going forward and made so many differences. He scored a goal. Yeah, I think he should have deserved to get the player of the game. But can I go back to Alvarez? I mean, I highly rank Alvarez. You know that just for fun, I put him as a Ballon d'Or like some years ago because he won 4 trophies. But I'm so glad we talk about him, because he's the kind of player you want to play with, because you know the commitment that he has. He's a perfect teammate for everybody, even for the defenders, because you know that he won't let you go. He will work hard for you, and as Ali said, he will score goals. And he's typically the kind of striker you need and you want in your team. And he proved that he's always right. He has the feeling, and it's true. Leaving Manchester City was quite of a wondering. Going to Atletico Madrid was another wondering. But he was right everywhere. So well done, my man.
Has a cat just entered your office, Frank?
I believe so.
Can we see a cat behind you?
I believe so.
Excuse me again? Say again?
There's a cat behind you.
As a defender?
Meow.
Oh, well, that's the new cat. That was, she left. That's Zoe.
Oh.
That's
Yes.
my third, that's our third cat. Yeah, I'm sorry. She's very interesting about you, so she wanted to see you.
No, of course, I understand that.
You don't have a door in that office. You're shut the door.
The second leg of that tie, Real Madrid, of course, will go into favourites, but just one goal separates those two city rivals going into that second leg. March the 12th. We've got a lot of time to talk about this game, the second leg. Anyone go for Atletico Madrid? No.
Oh, as you said, we have a lot of time to talk.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Build up.
Mario, Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid? Who have you got?
Real Madrid, my friend. I'm so sorry. I like the speed
don't
of fun that
apologise.
Madrid has.
Arsenal, 7-1, of course. They will face...
Wait.
What's wrong?
Wait, they scored 7 goals and the expected goals is
That's just how
1.96.
clinical Arsenal are in front of goals these days.
What?
Arsenal, by the way, will meet the winners of Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid. Don't focus on that too much. It's probably not even right.
Okay. All right.
No, in our track
I
record.
tell you what, he's got some front, hasn't he, today, Mario? You thought he would have rang in with a late flu or a real...
Yeah, Mario, as the Dutchman on this panel, we've got to go to you first. How much was this Arsenal being brilliant, and how much was this PSV being bad?
It's actually, PSV is in a bad situation anyway. Prior to the game, you understand, because they were leading the charge in the league with 8 points different. Now they're 8 points behind Ajax that's winning it. So coming into this game, they knew that they were not in a comfortable situation. But one thing is really crucial. The English league is very shown in Holland. And this game gave me a feeling like they were not ready for the game. How could you not know that Arsenal plays this way, between the lines? How can you spread your midfield that wide open? Thiel, Trouser, all those guys in the middle of the park, you understand, of PSV. It was like it was a stretch right open, and every time Arsenal wanted to break them, it was so easy to get through them. I know the penalty that we highlighted could have changed the game, because he should have gotten a second yellow card, you understand, because, you know, when that situation happened, yeah, it was crucial, but then they scored. But away from that, come on, man, it's, you know, Odegaard was... I felt like he was training. He wasn't even playing a game. He was doing a training session and walking through the lines and dictating it and spraying the balls around the way he wanted. And I think that's why PSV, no, they are not looking good, and I expected them to lose this game.
Regardless of PSV and their form coming into this, brilliant from Arsenal.
No, brilliant, because they haven't looked very good in the Premier League of late. And obviously, I think a little bit feeling sorry for themselves about the injuries that they've got and blah, blah, blah. But I've long said that, you know, they haven't lost Thierry Henry up front. They haven't lost an Ian Wright. They haven't lost, like, a Robin van Persie. You know, obviously, Bukayo Saka's out, and that is a huge blow. But they haven't lost, like, some great striker. I mean, he wasn't, you know, I think we all agreed he wasn't cutting the mustard, Kai Havertz. So I've always felt that Arsenal if they got on the front foot, could still score goals. Now, they have huffed and puffed in the league, which is probably going to mean they're not going to win it. But they've shown tonight that they can create chances. All right, you know, PSV were terrible. I mean, that's embarrassing, isn't it? Last 16 in the Champions League. I don't care if you're having a good time or a tough time in your own league. I don't care if you're in form or out of form. I don't give a stuff. That's embarrassing. That is utterly embarrassing to be as open to lose 7 goals at home against a side that have been mediocre recently, with some of their best players out, albeit they are a better team, they are a better squad, and they have a bigger budget. If you lose by 3 or 4, that's a bad day at the office. If you lose it by 7 at home, and it could have been worse, that's an absolute shambles. And, you know, Peter Bosz should be absolutely embarrassed about how his team performed tonight. As good as Arsenal were, at this level, when we're talking about losing 7 goals at home, that's a shocker, an absolute shocker.
How are Juventus feeling? Looking at it overall, Ali, dream scenario. Next second leg, you don't need to go full steam, 7-1 up. Obviously, focusing now on Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid in the next round for Arsenal, but job done tonight.
Job done, but I think it's even beyond that for Arsenal. Because while we may look at PSV and go, they are horrendous, what we saw from Arsenal today, we haven't seen in a while. Dynamic in the attacking half, confident in front of goal, scoring goals, feeling good about yourself. So it's not only the momentum that you generate in Champions League and how then the second leg, obviously Mikel Arteta can rotate as much as he wants to. I think it pushes you forward. It gets you away from the negativity. It gets you away from what has been in terms of we haven't been good in front of goal, we haven't been confident, we haven't been scoring goals, we're depending just on set pieces. If we don't score on set pieces, then we don't score at all. And you get to focus on, well, look at us. When we actually move off the ball, when we can combine, when we have Declan Rice joining in the attack, when Odegaard can get his head up and finds that through ball, we have enough players in the attack to be dynamic, and they proved that today, albeit against PSV. But I think if you're Arsenal, you don't care. You're excited about the fact that you looked like your old self. You looked confident. You looked dynamic. You looked explosive. And you haven't been that for a while.
A word on Lewis Skelly. Arteta handle this right?
Absolutely. And it's becoming a little bit of a habit for him, for one so young. And I think, you know, we saw him with the Erling Haaland celebrations. I thought that was a bit cocky. That's up to him. He was sent off at Wolves. Some might say he was unlucky, but we're starting to see these little... And it's a learning curve for him. And you either swim or you sink. Because there is absolutely no question he has the talent. But he has to look at he has to learn the discipline side of it, which young guys have to do. And if he does that, he's going to have a absolutely sterling career. That being said, it was the correct call, absolutely, from Mikel Arteta. And by the way, the player that he brought on is a terrific player.
Yeah.
So it was a smart and it was a needy move. But he was lucky he was able to make that move.
Yes, because he should have been off.
He should have been off.
Mario, of course, you came onto the scene as a teenager. How difficult is that learning curve that Lewis Skelly's going through at the moment? And has Arteta handled it right today?
Yeah, it was smart. You know, like Greg said, you understand, you take him off. And you also explain certain things to players. When they're that young, you explain to him in the situation you're in. You have to be smart because clearly you could see that, you know, it should have been a second yellow for him. But on the other side, you know, in the development when things like this happen, it's also sometimes better to let it happen early in your career because then you manage to learn from it. And then you see how your team is going through the development. There's clearly an opportunity there on the left-hand side because, you know, there's enough players go in and out there. So if I was that age and being in that situation he is, he's got to work hard and make that position his. You know, it doesn't matter. Even if you have big competition, you should always believe in yourself. And I think after this match, he should not worry about anything. This is just what happened. Your team won anyway, 7-1, so there's no worries for him.
But it's a good learning curve because they're playing PSV tonight.
Yeah.
He got away with it. And even if he'd been sent off, they might not have won 7, but they still have won this game because that PSV were so bad. But when they go to the next stage, and they will, the two teams that they may come up against...
How dare you question PSV's potential?
You're not getting away. You make those kind of mistakes against Atletico or Real Madrid, and you're done. you're absolutely finished. I mean, it's tough enough to play against them with 11 men, and that's when it has to be a quick learning curve. Okay, got away with it tonight. It was PSV. We hammered them. Cannot, if he plays against one of the other two in the quarterfinals, cannot be making the same decisions, because that will cost his side a place potentially in the semi-final.
With a 3-1 advantage, at 1-1, Craig, you kind of thought, well, that's probably where this game's going to finish.
You know, I actually don't think Club Brugge are out of this.
Seriously?
Yeah. But,
Really?
I mean, Villa haven't always been great at home this season. And there was long periods in that game, particularly as the first half wore on, that they were in control. Now, Villa are in the box seat. There is no doubt about it. But I don't think their performances, albeit the performances in the Champions League have been better, I don't think their performances, if you look at a bigger picture, have been good enough and strong enough, particularly defensively, to say that, you know, they couldn't get a couple of goals at Villa Park.
It's a bit harsh, isn't it? 3-1, Villa with the lead at Villa Park. They've already beaten the likes of Bayern Munich.
What's harsh about it?
I just think you're being a bit mean to them.
I'm being realistic, you muppet. I just don't think. I don't think it's another great result for Villa. But if they're resting on
I don't
their
know why you have to take the negative angle at it.
Not the negative. I don't think it's over. It's not PSV and Arsenal. There's only a couple of goals, and I think there's an own goal in there, a dubious penalty, and Club Brugge, I'm not going to call them Brugge, had enough possession and chances in that game just to tell me this one is not dead in the water just yet.
Villa will be delighted, though, won't they? Despite him.
Oh, they will be delighted.
Well, there you go. That's nice.
Well, it's not over. Is it over? I tell you what, if they come back, I am going to rub your face right in it.
I'm not working that day.
You think about big moments in a match, that header by Van Aken.
Yes.
That you think,
Yeah.
maybe it's off the post and out, but it could be off the post and in. And the slightest of touches from Mings, and that ball now goes wide. At that point, it was 1-1. Would have been 2-1. Club Brugge, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. Bruges,
Okay.
Bruges, we're normal. We're normal.
Okay.
Well, semi.
And so, in terms of big moments in a match, or when you think about what that could have been for Club Brugge, but then after that, I really think when I saw 4 players coming in from Villa, I thought, man, at this stage of the match, it seems like it's big changes, and you're changing pretty much half of the team out on the field. But it worked out for Unai Emery.
Yeah.
Matty Cash is the one that draws the penalty. Asensio is the one that scores the penalty. I thought Morgan Rogers had a game in which you saw some of the moments that make him an exciting player, and it also some of the moments as to why he can be frustrating at times with some of the turnovers. But him running out of the midfield is what creates that goal down the right-hand side, the own goal that ends up being the game winner. Aston Villa in a much more comfortable position, in my mind, than what I think Craig thinks they are.
May I just remind you?
Here he comes.
No. May I just remind you?
Yes, Craig.
Club Brugge were 3-0 up at half-time. What did I say? Brugge. Oh, my God, I've gone to the dark side. Club Brugge were 3-0 up at Atalanta at half-time.
Okay. What's your point?
My point is, if they can do that away at Atalanta, they can certainly score goals at Villa Park. So you can't just rubbish them. As good a night as it's been for Villa, scoring 3 goals away from home, this is a side that are dangerous.
Who's going through?
Villa.
There you go. So it finishes then Borussia Dortmund 1, Lille 1.
I know. And there's only one man who thought.
I've just been told why we put the handball instant in.
He never learns, does he?
Frank
He never
Leboeuf
learns. The producer never learns. I've told him, do not answer the phone or text messages to Mr. Leboeuf on match day. Do not.
Frank, I imagine the French aren't happy with this referee overall.
Yes. I think he could have gotten the German nationality after that game, you know, and because for me the 2 penalties were obvious. Yeah, there is a red card for Andre Gomez. I agree with Ali for sure, but Lille deserve better than that, and the referee or the people in the VAR, I think, were spot on, and yeah, we can be a little bit unhappy, but overall, you know, Lille had so much a bad first half that we never thought that they would come back, and they had a very good second half. So a draw away from home is also a very good surprise and a very good result. So everybody's happy, and it shows in contrary of what Craig Burley think, that Lille, the League One, is still there and we still exist.
Hey,
Mr. Craig Burley.
I maybe pick them to be who's going to be the dark horse that makes a surprising run in this.
Oh.
Do you remember that conversation?
No, I wasn't here. That was on the cruise. Shame I missed it. It sounded great.
Well done, Craig.
One of those days. It's one of those days.
It.
One of those days we're scratching around, and somebody said Lille, maybe because they're playing Dortmund. That handball wasn't a penalty. Well, the challenge, the clumsiness on Davies, because he doesn't need to get that tight.
Yeah.
And once he gets that tight, and then he clatters into the back of his knee. I'm okay with that one, but not the handball.
Dortmund be disappointed, as Frank
That's
said,
an
given how
handball.
poorly...
Oh, here we go. Go ahead, Frank.
That's
Go
an
ahead.
handball. I'm sorry, Craig. You can say
It's
whatever
not.
you want. It can be on the floor, but it's an handball. The ball goes to this end, and nowadays it's a penalty.
Dortmund be disappointed not to have punished Lille in that first half.
Yes, because to Frank's point, there only seemed to be one team on the field, and it was Borussia Dortmund. And they had all the possession, and they were creating the chances, and Lille were not doing a whole lot. And Dortmund is coming with some confidence into this match, given the fact that they have won 2 back-to-back games in Bundesliga, which it hasn't been easy for them. And now it goes from being in total control to feeling like, I don't know if we're good enough to go to Lille and actually win. Because you know who struggles going away from home? Borussia Dortmund. It's hard to trust this team to go and do the job at Lille. And so Lille, yes, when you see the second 45 minutes, and in particular the last 30 minutes, how dominant they could be and how good they were on the ball and how they were able to find spaces, and you see Borussia Dortmund getting nervous and disorganized and now getting stretched, that's when you obviously can paint a picture that Lille are the favorites going back home and actually finishing this off.
Everybody has got Liverpool to go through. Shaka and Frank have got PSG winning. I've got a draw. Meanwhile, Burley, you reckon Liverpool are going to go there, get the win, and then obviously get it done at Anfield as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but PSG it's a different animal now, sure. Since the turn of the year, much more dangerous, scoring goals. But Liverpool have been strong defensively. Van Dijk's playing as well now as he's ever played, really marshalling that back line. And there is good a team around Liverpool at picking teams off on the counter, particularly with Mo Salah and his like. So good side PSG now, very dangerous, scoring goals. Vitinha obviously having a terrific season. Dembele, the end product is there, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel Liverpool, this version of Liverpool, this more sort of composed version, more organised version, but still as dangerous, I think they've just got a wee bit too much.
Mario, really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. Why? Because, just what Craig said. I think, PSG, it doesn't matter, but when it comes to the Champions League, it's just something different. And I think that different, what makes it so special, I think that also will be in the head of some of the individuals. And I think with Liverpool, I think you have a lot more calm heads to perform in this game. So that's why I went for them, because I feel like regardless if they go to Paris first and then take it to Liverpool, okay, at Anfield, it totally be a different show. And I think that's for anybody. It doesn't matter what club you play for. When you come to Anfield, it's a different dimension. But at PSG, I think they just have to make sure whatever happens, if you cannot win it, get out of a draw.
How different the tone is for this PSG tie to others previously in the Champions League stages. Frank, we talked about obviously Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, blah, 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 blah. Yet this form in 2025 means we're going to see a proper competition, a proper fight, aren't we, over these two legs?
Yes, that's going to be very hard for Liverpool. Of course, they are favourites, but they're going to face a PSG, a real team of PSG, which wasn't the case before. You had the stars and the other one running for them. Now everybody makes efforts, everybody is at his best, and they know who they're going to play against. And I'm pretty sure that Luis Enrique is going to play Bacola against Chiellini if he plays, and Dembele against Robertson. They're not going to try to compete against Konate and Van Dijk. I think Doué is going to play in the middle as number 10. They will have nobody to mark. And in the middle of the park, you will have Vitinha, Neves, and either Reece or Zaire Emery. They are unbelievable players. So, it's not going to be easy for Liverpool. Liverpool will have to deal on the first leg with a great PSG, and if he can manage that game, yeah, they're going to win at Anfield. But how much they're going to, how they're going to behave and compete against Paris Saint-Germain at the Parc des Princes tomorrow, that's a big question. Because again, Paris Saint-Germain, when they have the ball, they're very effective. And with the Dembélé and Barcola on the side, and we all know that's the weaknesses for Liverpool, that's going to be interesting to watch.
Meanwhile, for the fourth time this season, we will see Bayern Munich take on Bayer Leverkusen. Just a reminder of how things have gone in the three previous meetings. Couple of draws, and then, of course, Bayer Leverkusen with the victory in the Pokal. Taking a look at everyone's predictions, how has this affected everyone going for? Everyone's going for Leverkusen with the exception of Mario, who believes it will be Bayern to go through. Ali, you followed these teams throughout the whole season. Are we going to see this kind of tight affair that we've kind of been used to, or a 2-2? Where's that come from?
Well, it's come from the fact that both of these teams are vulnerable defensively. Now, I'm picking Leverkusen to go through because it's impossible to ignore what I saw 2 weeks ago at Leverkusen.
You were there at the game with a sausage and mustard.
Yes, and sauerkraut.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yes.
That's a bit harsh on Kay.
That's very good for you. Well done.
Can I go now?
Yeah,
hey. Down there for dancing, up there for thinking.
Impossible to ignore what I saw at Leverkusen.
Yeah.
And when Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso made the decision to press Bayern Munich couldn't get out of their own half. Now, the only thing that concerns me and troubles me, and the possibility that maybe Bayern Munich advance out of this, is if Xabi Alonso makes the decision to sit back and give all the initiative to Bayern Munich because they're playing away from home. If they do that, and you give the initiative to Bayern Munich, then this team can be dangerous. If they dictate how the game is going to be played, if they dictate the rhythm of play, then Bayern Munich can be really dangerous. If you press them, if you get numbers around the ball, if you harass them in the midfield and force turnovers in the middle third, you can expose some of their frailties defensively, and it really comes back to then Kim defending, Upamecano defending. They have difficulties in transition. I think there's a real opportunity here for Leverkusen to get something away from home. Regardless, I think it's 2-2, but it sets up what I would think would be an advantageous position for Bayer Leverkusen. And on the whole, Leverkusen have proven over the last few weeks that they're in a better place, have momentum, have confidence going into this match. Bayern Munich, not so much.
Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Mario joins us, Craig and Ali as well. Whose goal was better, Mario, Rodrigo or Alvarez?
Who was what? Sorry, come again?
Which goal was better, Rodrigo or Julian Alvarez?
Yeah, I mean, Alvarez did but I give it more to Rodrigo because the way he everything was right. You understand? The ball on the inside, the assist was great, but the speed, man. When people put on that turbo, I enjoy watching it because I'm so happy that it's not against me. So I give it to Rodrigo.
One vote for Rodrigo.
Julian.
Oh, really? Why?
Julian.
Why?
No, he's saying because you said Julian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Julian.
He's not
I'm
English.
sorry.
Oh, you should
Julian
be.
Alvarez.
Mr. Club Brugge, Club Bruce.
Hey, I'm big into this pronunciation. Right. Julian
Yes.
is the English pronunciation.
Okay. All right. Should we move away from that and move on to the actual question that I
Yeah.
asked?
Who's the best goal?
Yes.
Julian's.
Oh, was it? Why?
I don't know. I don't care.
Right. Good. Ali?
I'm
As a
gonna
man who
say-
scored many of those.
Yes, yes. Very much my style of goal. I'm going to say Rodrigo on the totality of the goal. The pass, the through ball by Valverde, and then the full speed motion of Rodrigo as he's going away from goal, being able to find that far post. Julian Alvarez is a great shot, but it's one sequence in which he's seen the goal in front of him and is able to set up that shot to the far post.
Ali, is Jules Alvarez the most Simeone-type striker? He's shifty and very technically gifted, but he also puts in a tremendous shift defensively.
We talked about this in the show, absolutely. It's a match made in heaven. It is the perfect matchup of what a manager like Diego Simeone wants out of his strikers. He wants the work rate. He wants the teamwork. You work for the team first, and then use your qualities to make a difference in the final third and score goals. And Julian Alvarez is doing all of that right now for Atletico Madrid.
Craig, are Arsenal back?
Back where?
Back to the top.
Well, they're not. Back where? Where are they going? I mean, they're going to be in the quarter-final,
Yeah.
but they're going to face a proper test.
Real Madrid or Atletico.
No matter which team goes through.
Yeah.
And that will be the acid test for them. So they're not back unless they win the Premier League or they go all the way in the Champions League. This is just a very good night against a bang average, embarrassing
Wow.
Dutch team.
Oh, Mario. Mario, I feel this
what
is
about
personal.
the Dutch league?
No. Hey, it's
we
only
only-
that. I don't
we
mind. I
have
don't
it.
mind, Dan. They are my rivalry team. I don't mind him
yeah.
talking about PSV.
Ajax.
Keep going,
No,
Craig.
exactly.
Keep going.
I know. But I was just thinking about the package.
What package?
Not going to go into it.
Okay, go to There's not.
Just in case there's a promo comes up for the Dutch league that you can see on this network of teams getting battered.
Craig, what would be a better watch next round? Arsenal PSV or Frank's flamenco performance next week?
Oh,
Arsenal.
But they're already 7-1 up.
I don't care. I'm sick and tired.
Oh, you
I am
can't.
absolutely sick to the back teeth. And this man's dancing with the stars
But
already.
it's only 4 minutes.
Every freaking
Hey, then
show.
we have to be careful because maybe Craig is putting on the TV when he's at home. He's got his TV on, the Craig.
Do you think so, Mario? Secretly, he's watching.
No, I told you I was watching The Voice the other week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm into a bit of normality, you know.
You like the voice? So Craig was telling us when
Connie
the voice
wasn't
is
on.
on, he turns his back.
Yes.
And like the judges do, and then turns. When he's...
I do not. You absolute.
Craig, be honest. Hey, are you watching that? He's watching him dance on the high heels and everything.
What? I don't wear high heels. What are you talking about?
Right, Ali,
I beg your pardon.
Ali, do you think MLS should compensate fans when Messi doesn't play in away games?
What about when he's not there and he's retired? Let's just keep.
No other major sports in the US does this, so why do opposing teams feel obligated to offer refunds or incentives for something beyond their control?
so let me address the first part.
Yeah, put it into context for us.
Right. No, you should not refund tickets because Lionel Messi decided not to travel or not to show up.
But Houston are, yes?
Huh?
That's what Houston are?
What they're offering tickets for a following game. Yes, they're saying, okay, you came to this one, here's a ticket for the next one,
Right.
or whenever that date may be.
No, come on.
Okay, all right, Mario, don't get mad at me. I'm just presenting the news here. Here's the problem. Major League Soccer, historically, not just now for Lionel Messi, this used to happen when Freddie Adu was part of the league, in which they used to sell the game around Freddie Adu.
Right.
And it happened with Beckham, and it happened with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and it continues to happen. And now, of course, they're doing it with Lionel Messi, in which the local team, in this case Houston, would have built up everything around Lionel Messi and Inter Miami and that game. And the truth of the matter is that this would be one of the few times, if at all, in which their stadium would be full, whereas compared to the rest of the other weeks. That's why they feel the obligation to say, this is unique, here's another ticket for you to come back. The truth of the matter is that you don't owe the fans. They're choosing to do so. And I suppose that in some ways that's the correct thing to do in their minds, but they don't have to do this. They're going above and beyond to offer another ticket for the fans to come back and watch them play.
Tells you everything you need to know, innit? That Inter Miami are well within the rights to play the player or not play the player. And what it tells you is that these Houston fans really couldn't give a toss about their own team.
Correct.
They couldn't.
Idea exists.
They want to just be there. What happens when he's not there? They have to go and find the next superstar to try and sell that. That's not how you build the product by basically saying,
But maybe giving these free tickets is a nice vehicle now for them to come back and just experience the game without expectations of seeing Messi.
yeah, but it's embarrassing that you buckle to this sort of mentality of, oh, he's not playing this, we've been duped. It's nothing to do with them. But I think it's typical of the whole scenario.
It's a couple of things about that.
Yeah.
When it was Beckham, when it's Ibrahimovic, now Messi, what you're trying to do is that you know they're coming to watch Lionel Messi.
Make the experience.
But what you're trying to do, and it's what everybody in MLS is trying to do, make the product entertaining enough to where the casual fan that came to watch Messi comes back next week to watch that local team, in this case, the Houston Dynamo. That is the connection that you're trying to make. The other thing that I would say is that this is very much an American sports sort of thing. It happens in the NBA as well, where fans complain about the fact that when you have back-to-back games on the road, a coach may decide, you know what, LeBron James is not playing because he's old, and now we need him as we get closer into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it has become a thing where fans are like, well, but I bought tickets to watch LeBron James play. And it's become a point of discussion in American sports, in the scene of American sports, and that's why MLS is not immune to it, and that's why the Houston Dynamo feel like they also have to provide an additional experience to these fans and an additional opportunity for them to come back to the stadium.
It's -14, Lionel Messi, but you have to come and play this game because the fans want...
Mario, was it similar when you didn't play for Wigan? Was there a big backlash? People wanted their money back?
Yeah, wanted the pies back.
No, we only did it when we lost a big game, you understand? But let's leave that out of scratch. The only thing I want, when I play football, guys, I want my fans to support me and not focus on whoever is coming to play against me. Because the game is about me winning for you and you celebrating for me. That's all about. I understand a great player comes and play against me, but hey, I want to win. And when we talk about the other games, you understand, you think when MJ was playing, the people were gonna get, yeah, of course I would go to the stadium to watch him, but if I would play against him, I would try my best, even if it was impossible, but I would try my best to beat him. Yes.
Who's MJ?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, don't take the bait.
Michael Jordan.
Come on.
I don't know.
The biggest, the baddest.
He may not have known. I don't think Dan knew what Mario
Of course
talked
I knew.
about.
Don't give me some credit.
No, I don't think you're paying attention.
Hey, I give you credit, Dan. You understood the MJ. Yes, the
I
man,
am
the main
absolutely,
man,
yes.
MJ.
Yeah,
Love him.
exactly.
I know.
Exactly. And we're all waiting for Frank's last dance. Hey, there you go.
I'd pay for that. I'd pay for it.
Could be the flamenco.
Craig, final question. What's your favourite Scottish food?
Well, not haggis.
Okay.
What would you perceive as Scottish? I don't know what you...
I don't know, you're Scottish. You really should know the answer.
That's been a very... I mean, what's
We
Scottish?
know Mario likes Nando's. I saw you posting it again on Instagram that you were back in England and you were eating Nando's again, Mario.
Yeah, I had to go and I gotta eat my stuff. Whenever I make it to the UK, my friend, then I gotta eat my food. I'm so sorry. I gotta do it. So, come on, Craig, what is the best Scottish kind of dinner that you guys like?
Well, I think...
Sausage.
A pie?
I think...
Deep fried Mars
Actually,
bar, obviously, is the...
I think I'll go to a German restaurant tonight. Need to find one on the planet. I think Stevie would agree.
Scottish.
Well,
I don't
Scottish
know.
or not.
God, that's worrying if you're agreeing with Steve.
No, tatties and mince.
Okay, yeah. Which is potatoes and ground
That's it.
beef.
Okay.
Yeah, with mixed in with onion and gravy and different stuff. But it's a very traditional,
Hearty.
cheap. Well, it's like, relatively cheap to make for the work. Those of us were brought up in working class families.
Yes, very true.
Not brought up with a silver spoon in their mouth,
Right.
like some.
I don't know who.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, you know, none of us are there with the silver spoon. But if there is one, I would like him to speak right now.
Definitely not. So, favourite Scottish food is tatty and mince, yeah?
Am I talking to myself here or what?
I'm just repeating it. Venezuelan food. Let's do the rounds as well.
Arepas.
Pardon?
Arepas.
Arepas?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. What does he want? Or pabellón criollo?
Oh, okay.
I'm lost though. Arepas, what is it? Is it like a spicy?
No. It's like basically it's like a fat tortilla.
Okay.
Then you stuff it with shredded beef or
Lovely.
ham and cheese or.
Nice.
That's very Venezuelan. But pabellón criollo, which is shredded beef, black beans, white rice, and fried plantains.
Perfect.
Like a burrito? No.
No.
I don't like sandwiches with rice in them.
No? Good.
No, pabellón is one thing. Arepa is one different thing.
Get that rice out. Mario, favourite Dutch food?
Dutch, I will not say because that I'm not really equipped to eat it, but Surinamese. That's how I've been brought up by my lovely mother. And a nice, we have like a bami it's called, but it's like a pasta, vegetables with some chicken. I tell you, when you eat that, even a guy like Craig would say, oh my God, why don't you bring this to me? Because it's delicious.
I like various different.
Yeah, he's not Stevie, to be fair. His palate is a little more
Lived
sophisticated.
in London, I went, but I tell you what, Holland, that's in Dutch. That's another thing. You don't really. It's not something you'd say, is it?
No.
You know, you're going out for an Italian or maybe a Spanish or French,
German.
Yeah.
German.
German. I
Never
don't
heard
think
that
that's-
anybody say in my puff, and I've never heard anybody say, fancy a Dutch restaurant tonight.
I totally agree with you. I agree with you because I don't do the same. I don't do it.
There you are. Maybe they offer other things. That is it. ESPN FC returns to your screens tomorrow.